Welcome to Speakeasy English Podcast, where English becomes simple.
I'm Kate, and today I want to ask you something very real. Have you ever tried to speak English, and suddenly your mind went completely blank? Your heart beats faster, your hands get cold, and all those words you studied for hours, they just disappear. You know what you want to say, but the words don't come out. You start thinking maybe English is not for me. But let me tell you, it's not your fault. The problem is not you. The problem is that no one taught you how to train your brain to speak English naturally, step by step, with real structure, with real results. And that's exactly what I'm going to do today. In this episode, I'll teach you a complete 5-day fluency plan. The same method that helped thousands of students finally speak English confidently and think in English without fear. So, if you've ever felt stuck, nervous, or afraid to speak, stay with me until the end, because today, we start a 5-day journey together, and I promise, by the end of it, you'll feel a real difference. And before we begin, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment below telling me I'm ready for my 5-day English challenge, because your comment shows me that you believe in yourself and it motivates me to keep creating lessons like this one for you. Day 1, choose 5 topics you love. Day 1. Let's start your 5-day English journey together. Here's something most learners never realize. You can't become fluent in English by forcing yourself to talk about topics you don't care about. Fluency is born from connection, from speaking about things you truly love. So today, I want you to do something simple but powerful. Choose 5 topics that make you excited, things that make your eyes light up. It could be cooking, travel, books, sports, movies, health, music, art, anything that belongs to your world. Now, why do I ask this? Because when you talk about what you love, your brain relaxes. And when your brain relaxes, English starts to flow naturally. Let me give you an example. I love art, travel, and cooking. When I talk about art, I feel creative. When I talk about travel, I feel free. When I talk about cooking, I feel alive. These emotions make my brain want to express itself, and that's when fluency begins. Now, after choosing your 5 topics, I want you to write 3 reasons why you like each one. This is where fluency really starts. Because when you organize your ideas before speaking, your brain starts to create clear, logical sentences and you sound natural. For example, let's say one of your topics is health. Your reasons could be, I want to live a long life. I love learning about nutrition. I feel better when I take care of my body. Now you already have a structure. You can use those reasons to build sentences and conversations later. Remember, fluency is not about speaking fast. It's about thinking clearly and expressing naturally. So don't skip this step. Write down your 5 topics and 3 reasons for each. By the end of day 1, you won't just have ideas, you'll have the foundation for natural English conversations. Day 2, find blogs or articles about each topic. Day 2. Now that you have your 5 favorite topics and your reasons, it's time to feed your brain with real English. Here's the truth: if you only study grammar books, your English will stay in a box. But when you expose your mind to real content, your language starts to come alive. So today's mission is simple. Find one article or blog post for each of your 5 topics. You don't need to read everything word by word. Just skim read the titles. Look at the sentences, catch the ideas. The goal isn't to memorize. The goal is to observe how native speakers talk about what you love. Because when you see English used in real situations, your brain starts making silent connections. You begin to notice rhythm, tone, and the natural way words live together. Let me give you an example. I love cooking, so I searched for a blog post called 10 Things I Learned from Culinary School, and just by skimming, I found 3 powerful points. You don't need to be a professional chef to cook like one. Simple tools can be more useful than expensive ones. Leftovers can become creative new dishes. Now, can you see how that helps me speak naturally? If someone asks me about cooking, I don't just translate words from my language, I already have ideas, sentences, and examples from what I read. So today, your challenge is to find 5 articles, one for each topic. Highlight 3 interesting ideas from each article. It could be a sentence you like, a phrase you didn't know, or an idea that surprised you. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word. Understanding comes from exposure, not perfection. The more you surround yourself with English that matters to you, the faster your brain will learn to think in English, not just translate. Remember, this journey isn't about pressure. It's about progress, slow, meaningful, natural progress. Day 3, expand your vocabulary naturally. Day 3. Now, it's time to expand your vocabulary, but in a natural, stress-free way. I know that sometimes, vocabulary can feel like a mountain. Thousands of words, endless lists, flashcards everywhere. But let me tell you something that will change the way you study forever. You already know more English than you think. You don't need to start from zero. You just need to grow from what's already inside your mind. So today, I want you to pick 3 words you already know for each of your 5 topics. Yes, words you already know. Let's take sports as an example. Maybe you already know the words athlete, competition, and team. Now, we're going to build from there. Find 3 new synonyms or related words for each one. For athlete, you could write player, competitor, contender. For competition, maybe match, game, challenge. For team, perhaps squad, group, club. See what's happening here? You're building bridges between words, expanding your vocabulary like a web. This method works because your brain loves connections. When you connect one word to another, you're not just memorizing, you're understanding. And when you understand, you remember. Here's another example. Let's say one of your topics is travel. Maybe you know airport, hotel, and map. Now find 3 new related words: departure, luggage, destination. Suddenly, one simple word becomes a story. You're no longer learning isolated terms, you're learning how English works together in real life. And this is what fluent speakers do. They don't think word by word. They think in connections, in meaning, in images. So, write down your 3 known words for each topic. Then find 3 new ones related to each. By the end of today, you'll have a network of powerful vocabulary words that are alive, connected, and ready to flow in your conversations. And remember, fluency isn't about learning every word. It's about knowing how to use the right words naturally. Day 4, connect vocabulary with personal experiences. Day 4. Today's lesson is special. It's where English stops being just a language and starts becoming part of your life, because fluency isn't only about knowing words, it's about feeling them. And the best way to feel a language is to connect it with your own experiences. So here's what I want you to do today. Take each of your 5 topics and think about one personal story or real memory related to it. It doesn't have to be big or dramatic, it just needs to be real. For example, one of my topics is health. My personal story: I decided to change my lifestyle and become vegan to take better care of my body. That experience is connected to words like healthy, energy, lifestyle, nutrition. Now, those words aren't just vocabulary, they're my story. Let's take another topic: travel. I remember the first time I traveled to London. I felt nervous at the airport, but also excited. That memory brings words like flight, luggage, explore, freedom, culture. See what's happening. When your vocabulary meets your emotions, your English becomes alive. It's not just English anymore, it's you in English. Now, once you have your story, I want you to answer the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. Let's do one together. Topic: cooking. Who? Me and my Korean friends. What? I cooked Mexican food for them for the first time when? 2 years ago. Where? In my small apartment kitchen. Why? Because I wanted to share something from my culture. Now I can speak about this naturally. I cooked Mexican food for my Korean friends 2 years ago. It was my first time trying those recipes, and even though it wasn't perfect, they loved it. That's not just practice, that's real communication. And that's the secret of natural fluency. When English becomes part of your memories, your emotions, your laughter, you'll never forget it again. So today, I want you to bring English into your story. Don't just memorize, personalize, because your story is your power. Day 5. Create questions and practice conversations. Day 5. Now it's time to bring everything together, all your topics, your stories, your vocabulary, and make English flow. Because fluency doesn't come from silence. It comes from speaking, and the best way to speak with confidence is to ask and answer questions. So today, you'll create 5 questions for each of your 5 topics. That's 25 small doors to open real conversations. Why questions? Because when you prepare questions, you prepare your mind to respond. You're not waiting for someone else to lead, you're building your own English world. Let's do it together. One of my favorite topics is travel. So here are 5 questions I could write. Do you like to travel? What's your favorite city in the world? When was your last trip? Who do you usually travel with? Why do you think traveling changes people? Now, look what happens next. Because I've already written and thought about these questions, my brain starts to build answers naturally. For example, I love to travel because it helps me understand new cultures. I prefer small cities because I enjoy quiet places. Every time you ask yourself a question and answer it, you're practicing real communication, not just repeating words. Now, let's try it with another topic: health. Questions like, how do you take care of your body? Do you exercise every day? What's your favorite healthy meal? Have you ever changed your diet? Why is mental health as important as physical health? Can you see the pattern? These aren't textbook questions. They're real-life questions, and that's what makes you fluent. Once you have your questions ready, take a few minutes every day to answer them out loud. Talk to yourself, record your answers, or even share them with a friend. And remember, you don't need perfect grammar. You need real connection between your mind, your words, and your confidence. When you talk to yourself in English, you're not crazy, you're training like a fluent speaker. That's what fluent people do. They don't wait for perfection. They just start talking. So here's your mission for today. Write 5 questions for each topic. Answer them out loud every day for 1 week. You'll be amazed at how fast your confidence grows. You see, fluency doesn't happen overnight. It's not about magic. It's about small steps, repeated with love, passion, and patience. And the truth is you're already on your way. Every time you listen, repeat, write, and think in English, you are becoming fluent. But let me tell you something even more powerful. Fluency isn't just about speaking perfectly, it's about finding your voice in English. It's about being able to express your ideas, your feelings, your dreams in a new language. It's about connecting with people from every corner of the world. It's about freedom. And I know sometimes it feels difficult. You doubt yourself. You think, maybe I'm not good enough. But listen to me. You are good enough. You are learning. You are growing. You are evolving. Step by step, word by word. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Everyone learns at their own pace. The only thing that truly matters is that you don't give up, because English is not just something you learn, it's something you live. And I want to remind you of something very important. You are not alone in this journey. Here, in our community, we are learning together. Every video, every sentence, every comment you leave, it helps us grow as one. So, if you felt inspired today, if you learned something new, please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment sharing your experience, and let's continue creating this beautiful learning journey side by side. Remember, speak slowly, speak confidently, and never stop believing in yourself. You're not just learning English. You're unlocking a part of yourself that was waiting to shine. I'm Kate, and I'll see you in the next lesson where we'll keep speaking, learning, and dreaming in English.